I know that sometimes it's easy to get bogged down with, regulatory compliance and all the steps you need to take. So I'm curious, Marcus, your perspective on how InsurTechs and insurers can kind of balance the drive for innovation with the need for, transparent decision-making and all the processes that go into, keeping up with regulations.
Yeah, I think probably there's a lot of different ways to answer that question. I by the way, I do want to say that I appreciate Scott's point on insurance being like the foundation of a strong economy. I do think that one of the things that AI brings to the table is the ability perhaps to serve the underserved. I do think that that's true, very much so, and I think it can also help with reducing bias. But again, to Scott's point, obviously the people who create it and then manage it are really the ones that are steering it, and that's what's going to define whether or not it's going to meet those objectives or not. I do think, when I think about how do you, if you're an insurer, get started or maybe even want to get aggressive, I think it's really, to be honest with you, first just get started, right? Getting started does not mean you need to deploy it into production. It just means that you need to start working with it. You can always do POCs, you can always do different types of tests, but I think until you actually get started with it and work with it, that it's always going to appear, there's always going to be reasons not to, right? And the problem in my fear is that because it's advancing so quickly, that those who are jumping in and are, have controls in place to be able to offset the risks, as they work, as they move forward, and then are deploying it, that you're going to find that there's perhaps less of a need for so many providers, right? Because if they get particularly good at it, and the AI is helping them with the decision making, then their decision making is going to be so efficient that it'll box out a lot of other players. And I do think that is a significant risk. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think you should prevent that. But it does, to me, mean that for everybody involved, small or large, just get involved. And maybe one other point I would say is popular media likes to find something they can create a story around, right? And it can be very confusing if you're not in the AI space when you hear things and you'll think that, and I'll give you an example like DeepSeek. You'd be like, oh, DeepSeek's just bad. Turns out that it's a fantastic engineering team. They've actually open sourced their work. I do agree that using the model being hosted in China is not a wise idea, but the actual tech is open source and can be utilized to do a lot of great things in-house in a protected environment, run by the business and controlled by the business, right? It's just math. And so I do think also having an open mind while also making sure that you follow due diligence can lead to also businesses being able to move more quickly too without fear. So, but again, if I could give any advice, it would just be just get started, right?